Hello everyone, greetings of the day. I hope the day is treating all of you well today until now. So, today we are here for WLF Career Coaching Program, and I am your host Shilpi Shah. And before we move ahead, let me introduce myself. So, I represent Directorate of Women Empowerment as a country leader at World Leaders Foundation, and I also represent Fusia, a digital empowerment platform, which is a US based startup. And I also have a digital storytelling platform called Live Wabi Sabi, where we share incomplete, impermanent, and imperfect stories of beautiful souls. And before we move ahead to second slide, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our respected founder chairperson, Ms. Momita Chakravarti, for taking the remarkable initiative of launching the WLF Career Coaching Program. Your vision and leadership, ma'am, have created a powerful platform that is inspiring individuals, strengthening global perspectives, and guiding many towards meaningful career growth. We are truly grateful for your dedication and for the opportunities this program continues to offer under your guidance. So, thank you so much, Momita ma'am. And let me move towards our next slide. So, I would love to introduce you all to our sector knowledge partners. And so, first and foremost is Destination Tours and Travels India, European Tourism and Events Training Academy, Malta, Marcelino Munoz Foundation, Mexico, Gandhi Mandela Foundation, Latin America, and WLF Directorate of Human Rights, Mexico. Today's career coaching program topic is strategic marketing, and it will be hosted by Eva Buljubasic. So I will come to her introduction part, later on. And let me, reintroduce to you all our WLF career coaches who are empowering the next generation of leaders. So Miss Momita Chakravarti from India, Dr. Viana Hassan, Malta, Mr. Saurabh Bharti, India, Mr. Shekhar Vijayan, India, Miss Eva Buljubasic, Croatia, Dr. Stephen Murray, Mexico and Ireland, Dr. Hilal, Portugal, Miss Maria Elena, Mexico, Dr. Annabella Monteiro, Portugal. So, as you all already know about the program overview, so I will just try to keep it short. So, this 3 month, free program is your opportunity to learn directly from renowned global experts, gain real-time insights across leadership and various other sectors, network and connect with professionals worldwide, open doors to unlimited career opportunities, and not last, but the ultimate outcome will be earning an online certificate of participation. And program highlights, as you already know, there are 13 live master classes, and today's session is like 11th session of strategic marketing. And all these sessions are, of course, free, and you will be certified. You will be given a certificate after completing all the classes. And here comes our today's host, our WLF career coach, Miss Eva Buljubasic from Croatia. And the topic is strategic marketing. And let me tell you something about Miss Eva. So Miss Eva Buljubasic is from Croatia. She is an assistant professor, marketing strategist, cultural management expert. She holds a PhD and is currently teaching at Swiss School of Business and Management in Geneva, bringing her expertise in cultural management and innovation marketing strategies to an international academic environment. She also serves as assistant professor at the Academy of Arts and Culture in Osijek and leads global collaborations as chief Erasmus Plus coordinator. Her work focuses on unconventional marketing in cultural institutions, audience development, and interdisciplinary projects that connect education with real world cultural practice. So let's unlock, today's strategic marketing masterclass. And this session will empower you to learn and understand the current career market with clarity and confidence. And also, as we all know, that it is very essential in today's competitive workplace. So let's learn to master strategic marketing to elevate our careers and build lasting professional relationships. So over to you, Miss Eva Buljubasic. Most welcome.
Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, and also thank you so much to all of you to having me here today. It's wonderful to be here again because last I had a wonderful time, and also today I'm looking also forward to this session. Okay, again, thank you everybody for having me here. My name is Eva. Some of you maybe have, seen me, heard me, in my last session, but somebody who didn't, like I said, my name is Eva. Today I'm gonna talk a little bit about strategic marketing, which is really my passion. Marketing is my huge passion. I have worked also marketing now in also academia when it comes to the marketing. And also, as said, thank you again for a nice introduction about a little bit about me. As you said, I'm associate professor in field of marketing, and as a student already, I've been so much had so much passion about marketing. I also during my PhD, when I was working on my PhD, I was also working in marketing agency as a copywriter, and a copywriter, somebody in the marketing field who is doing the slogans, who is doing also the campaigns for the marketing for the various brands and etc. And right now, I'm more in academic, I'm more into teaching, which is also very my passion when it comes to the marketing. Also, I'm DPA mentor in Geneva in Switzerland and also in Paris, also Paris School of Management. And also I'm academic researcher, Erasmus coordinator. And like it says here, I'm bringing over a decade when it comes to international academic expertise. And like I said, marketing is fully my passion. And I'm so glad today we can talk a little bit about that and also share our experiences and also our knowledge. Okay, so now when we are diving in a little bit about, strategy and also a little bit of marketing, can somebody a little bit tell me here at the session, what is the one word that you associate with strategy, for example? Last time we had a wonderful interaction, so I'm really sure just tell me a little bit, share a little bit with me.
The
What do you
first
think?
words that comes to
Mm-hmm.
my mind when I hear about strategy is strategic leadership.
Nice.
Eva.
Thank you so much, Momita, for your answer. Very nice. Okay. Somebody else would like also to share? So the leadership, okay. Just feel free
I
to
would
share.
say
Mhm.
I would say it is teamwork, which
Okay. Very
resonates with
nice.
strategy.
Okay, also very nice. Teamwork. Somebody else would like to also to share?
I think repurposing content all over
Mm-hmm.
different channels. I mean, that also is a part of strategy, right?
Okay, thank you so much for your wonderful answers, for sharing that with me. When it comes also about strategy, if I need to answer this, for me will also be the direction. So, for example, when you are know where you are going, so you don't get lost, and also the planning and research, because strategy, when you're planning either way, let's say here in marketing, if you want to do campaign, if you want to do pricing, if you want to do the market, what's going on, so you need to do your research, what is going on, and also to plan, okay, where I'm going. So this is for me, this is how it will be when it comes to the strategy. Somebody says the term strategy. This is how I will say, for example, direction, planning, and also, of course, the research. Okay, so my next question will be, which brand or brands do you think demonstrates great and bold strategy in marketing, and also why? Of course, I also have my favorites where I'm going to also share, but somebody else maybe can share with me a little bit. And also I would like really know why is it so? Maybe the brands you like.
Yeah, I deeply like the marketing and branding of official samosa actually. I
Mm,
don't know if you guys have heard about it, but I mean, they share a kind of comic content all over
mm.
their platforms. So this is the best part because through comedy, we are able to, relate with it and it becomes fun to learn. And I love
Oh,
that part.
nice. Thank you so much for sharing. That's very nice. Okay, somebody else would like maybe to share? And also interesting to hear, you also different brands, different markets, because here in this session we are from all over the world, which is wonderful also. So we can, just share our thoughts. Somebody else would like also to share? Unfortunately, in the chats I cannot see right now, so maybe if you can, just talk, via the microphone if it's possible.
I think
which
Ghansham is sharing about that. He thinks that the marketing of Red Bull is wonderful.
Okay, very interesting. Where I also, when I'm also, at faculty with my students talking about Red Bull, I love also talking about strategic, marketing when it comes to the Instagram, also when it comes to the Red Bull, and also how they're promoting really also sports into the sports. So really, really nice. Okay, thank you so much. Somebody else maybe wrote something, maybe in the chat or maybe like to share.
The marketing of McDonald's is also
Mm-hmm.
quite good because they use that red and yellow vibe, which gives you a kind of hint about being happy and
Mm-hmm.
having fun.
Nice. Thank you so much also for sharing also your thoughts. Okay, very nice. Thank you so much again for telling me your opinion. Somebody else in the chat, I think somebody.
Jivita has shared about Maggie. Then
Mhm.
Nangmo Khan has shared about Nespresso and what cell. I don't know how it is pronounced.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Also, for me, for example, as I wrote it here, there's so many brands on the market, of course, but I really, when I was writing these slides, I was thinking, okay, what would be my favorite one? But I chose here, as you can see, for example, Nike, Dove, and Coca-Cola. For example, the Nike, I really like about Nike when it comes to strategic marketing, they're really talking about the journey, for example, their, about their genius also positioning and also how they're using, essential tools, for example, also for the personal transformation. And also when you see, for example, Nike ad, I don't know, maybe somebody here in the session, somebody even goes on YouTube and sees, for example, the Nike of ads. Every time, for example, myself, when I see a Nike ad, I just want to run. I just want to do marathon. I just want to, do sports. So this is really strategically, the motivation, how also they're talking also to the customers via that. And also they really are, saying about how they are about triumph and willing to act. So this is also the just do it also philosophy. And also I really like, the consistently innovating and also something also being up to date. This is what I'm going to talk a little bit about later. They really know what's going on right now on the market and also with the social media, what are people doing, who is now a big influence, who is also in the sports. So they're really, really connecting this really, really well. And also when it comes to Dove, I really like how they're talking about, for example, some kind of issues when it comes for example, the real beauty, how they're saying, everybody's beautiful, and they're really strategically doing this also in the storytelling and also recognizing that traditional beauty, for example, marketing, creating, this a platform also for talking about self-esteem, how self-esteem is very important also. And also they're building also the trust amongst also people who are following them, also their customers. So I really, really like that. And of course, Coca-Cola, and also, as also Momita said, for me, this is the happiness, and also for the McDonald's. It really brings up, the childhood memories, how you're sharing the Coke, really strategically also, how they're doing the storytelling, also in which market, and also now, for example, now people who are celebrating Christmas also, then also this narrative about the Christmas. And it's really, bringing the shared joy, the togetherness, the celebration, relaxation. And also this is for me, for example, when it comes to cola. Maybe something wrote in the chat because
Yes,
like
Jivita has written that Dove talk about pH values and Nescafe,
Mhm.
they talk about connecting people.
Yes, like I said, I really also when I see, this really strategically, m- communication, marketing communication about, like I said, those three brands, it's really, really, you can see it's really strategically made. It's really, about awareness and also, talking to the customers in really strategic way. Okay. So now that we are a little bit, shared a little bit of our thoughts, when it comes to the marketing and which brand do we like. So I was also want to tell a little bit, so what is actually strategy, for a little bit also when it comes, from the term. And I really found a really nice one here that the term strategy origins from the Greek word, as I wrote it here, from also the strategia, also sourced from the survey from this year from the book Source Marketing Management, and it's meaning the general shift which prefer to positioning troops, for example, as it says here, before the battle, and really defines in marketing and company choice of the market, which will complete and value the aims of creating within also the market. And I really, from this session, I really want you to take away that it's really important, strategically in which market we are going, because globally it's not the same, strategically to, do the pricing, do the ads or, distribution. It's not the same, for example, for example, in my country here in Croatia, or maybe when I'm in Switzerland. So this is, when it comes to the strategy. And also, about a little bit about strategic planning. And this is what source I took, also from the author, Philip Kotler. Somebody maybe here in this session, if he or she is studying marketing, I think you really, really know about Philip Kotler, because Philip Kotler is the father of marketing. It's really important, when you're studying, so this is why I also wanted to really to use also his source, where it says, strategic planning calls for the action, for example, 3 key areas. And the first area is managing a company business, of course, as investment portfolio. The second one, it was assessing, each business strength by the considering also the market's growth. And also it is important to develop also, of course, the strategy. It's of course a game, and you also have to know how to, play this game, very well, of course, again, with strategy. Okay, for example, also, I really, really wanted to share when somebody, because I was studying, I must say now it's gonna have been like now a few years, back in time, but I still look, with so much joy when it comes to my studying about marketing. Like I said, and I really, really enjoyed also to read about Philip Kotler, how he's approaching the marketing. And I really wanted, when I was thinking also about these slides, theoretically, who I'm gonna cite, for example, and I really wanted to do again the Philip Kotler. And here, what it says here, marketing is a social process, but which individuals and groups obtain, for example, their needs, and and they want to creating, offering, exchanging products and service of value freely with others. But of course, like I said, somebody, if she's studying, really, I really, really recommend, Philip Kotler. But for example, my definition of marketing, somebody as myself who did a PhD in marketing, who was also working in marketing, who is now teaching so much about marketing, who is passionate in the marketing. This is how I would say, marketing is the activity of finding the right time for exchange, because I really, really want to know what is right now going on, let's say 2025, because soon we're going to be 2026. And then involving, both non-material elements, for example, communication, attention, emotion, because nowadays, of course, we're also living in the economy of attention. So it's very, very important for brands. And we are also, as a self, we are also brands. So for example, as we are doing self-branding, it is really, really important to know how you're gonna, of course, want to seek attention, of course, in a positive way. Also to have a good communication, not also as self-branding, but also as the brands, the businesses, how you're going to communicate also with your customers. And at the end of the day, also emotions, of course, because these brands that I was also talking now 5 minutes ago, they're really, really doing good. We're talking to the customers also via emotion, because as I said earlier on, every time, for example, when I see the ad, for example, of Nike, of course, I want to get emotional about sport. I want to go around out there. I want to bring my best out there. So this is, also very, very important. And also when it comes to exchange of, for example, material offerings, products as service, of course, it doesn't, for example, of course, if you want to do some kind of products, and also the services on the marketing. Yeah, so you have to also know, of course, where is marketing and, in this also kind of relationship. This will be my definition, of course, of the marketing. Like I said, very important, the right, of course, timing it for you also to know, what is now needed and what is, for example, less needed. But for example, the easiest way, if I wanted to also now define, for example, strategic marketing, I will stay everything, same as I said now earlier on, but I would just add the long term. Because with the strategic, of course, I want to know, for example, if I'm entering the market, for example, how I'm gonna, do the strategically, let's say in 1 year, 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, or whatsoever. Although everything nowadays is changing very, very fast. Does, for example, the information also, everything that's going around us. As I also myself, for example, who is teaching marketing, I'm really, sometimes, adding also the information, even, 5 minutes before, for example, my class, because I know just, 5 minutes ago, somebody put an ad from the brands or something just happened and I want to, to talk to about it as a professor to my students also, why is it so, why do also brand, do those stuff? So really, is changing, very fast. So for example, what I had, for example, the last year in my slides, let's say for the, marketing, guerrilla marketing, I really need to update it, like I said, even 5 minutes before, because it's so many things going on. And strategically, like I said, here in my also definition, I want to do it, like I said, long term, to know where I'm going, what we also spoke earlier on, direction, research, and also the planning. So this is how I would just define when it comes also through strategic marketing. Okay, and now there are so many tools when it comes also to strategic marketing, but of course, through my experience and also to my knowledge, I really realized, like again, when I was doing this slides, I was really thinking, okay, what do was best for me? What could I use the best? When I was doing the campaigns, also when I was thinking strategically also, and I really chose one of those. And here you can see what I wrote here, for example, the SWOT analysis, the marketing of buyer persona, USP, and also of course nowadays the generative AI. Just before I dive in, when I talk a little bit about that, did somebody here in the session never, for example, heard of, let's say, maybe SWOT analysis, or let's say, I just want to hear your thoughts, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to just a little bit to hear your, thoughts, but let's just dive a little bit in, about my favorite tools when it comes to strategic marketing. Of course, as I also said, when it comes to the strategy, even during the day, even when you wake up, you cannot go into the day without some kind of strategy. Because for me, for example, if I don't have everything strategically organized in my day, I think I'm going to a little bit lose time, of course. But when we are also diving into the, tools that I really like, first, really, my first one, the SWOT analyze. The SWOT analyze is something, that even the bachelor students, are learning about. And you can not only use it in strategic marketing, you can also, take it for the management or whatsoever. But for example, when it comes, to the SWOT, there are things that you can see, the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and the threats. And for example, the threats are our core superpower. Let's say it like that. For example, you can just start, for example, from yourself. What can be mine, for example, superpower, or if you have, for example, a product or service, what could be, that superpower. Let's say even if you're having a business, could it be, fast delivery? Could it be, customer loyalty or whatsoever? And then you can also think a little bit about the weaknesses. And these are, for example, also our internal things, vulnerabilities. For example, let's just think about if you have a business or whatever, it can be, for example, let's say lack of staff, for example, if it can be also, for example, weaknesses or maybe some outdated information, outdated software, whatsoever. And these are, things we can also, of course, fix because they're internal. And second, there are external effects. For example, here, as I wrote here, the things we cannot so easily control. There are opportunities here. And the market, and of course, if you're talking about opportunities, They are the market tailwinds, of course, and a new, for example, let's say, for example, new demographic, or let's say our competitors, maybe they are, doing better at us, maybe they are failing, maybe they are behind us. And also when it comes to the threats, there are storms. I like it to, call it like some kind of storms on the horizon. And there can be, for example, if you're entering also the new market, let's say there can be new regulations, some kind of, new technology or whatsoever. And these are the, and also actually, this is what I consider also where the magic also happens. And it's the best strategies, the best strategies emerge when you don't look, at, individually, but you can also force them also together. And we can also call it some kind of even SWOT analysts can also call it the matrix. And also you can combine also, of course, for example, combine the strengths with opportunities. And then you can, ask yourself, how can we leverage for, let's say, for our biggest, advantages to size the best marketing chances, for example. And for example, if we do combine strengths and the threats also, and you can ask yourself, for example, how can we use a strong position, for example, to defend against the incoming some kind of danger. And also you can also combine, for example, the weaknesses and opportunities. And then you can also ask yourself, for example, what can we fix, internally, so we can, finally, have, what would be the final market, opportunities. And also and we can also, of course, combine, for example, the weakness also and the threats. So for example, also when it comes to the SWOT analysis, even when I'm doing for let's say an ad, I really want to, for example, a campaign also, okay, I want to know, like I said, on the market, what's going on. So what can be, my strengths, also my weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And also this gives me, a clearer version of everything. So like I said, strategically, I can think, where I'm going. So this is why I really, really like this tool. Okay, now marketing persona, which is also I really, really like, because then I can picture, how it would look, my perfect, let's say, somebody I can really imagine with that, somebody who looks like perfectly, who is maybe buying, or just giving me attention for my services, from my products or etc. What I really like when I'm talking also to people from the industry or professors, I really like, to talk about, sometimes people think, building a perfect marketing persona is just, doing when you're doing strategically going just for generation. For example, when you say, okay, now my perfect marketing persona is Generation Z or Gen Y or Gen, Millennial, or Gen Z, or let's say whatsoever. But you cannot just go that narrow, because, for example, Gen Zs, you can have different types of Gen Zs, so you can just, not, for example, just from my experience, you cannot just go say my perfect persona is just Gen Z, because like I said, there are so many varieties when it comes, to, for example, as Generation Z. So you can just, for example, just starting, as I wrote it here, let's say with demographics, you want to, of course, know what is the age, gender, location, for example, also where do my marketing persona lives, what are the incomes, for example, what are the job titles, what is the level of education, also industry where they're working also, and their, let's say, career history, or also right now, what is going their career. And also, what are the goals and challenges, the motivation. This is what I really, really, like when I think, okay, my perfect marketing persona, what are the motivation, goals and challenges. And then I will ask myself to get the better informations. For example, what are the primary professional goals of my marketing persona? What is also the biggest challenge point, also they are facing right now? Let's say we can also call it some kind of pain point also. And how do they currently attempt to solve also the problems, and how can I, for example, somebody who's also entering the market, who has already been in the market, strategically think, so to help, to solve those problems. And what does, for example, what I really, really like, how does also success look like for their, for example, role. And also, when it comes to the marketing persona, as we also talked about now, the demographics, motivation, goals, and challenges. And now we can also make the decision-making factors, for example, for the marketing persona. I always like to, think about, okay, who is actually influencing my marketing persona to maybe to give attention to something, to buy something? Is it maybe the social media? Is the family? Is the friends? So, why do they actually buy, for actually what they do, but not also buying, as I also said, giving also the attention. And then I would like also, to hear, for example, to ask also, what factors influences, their purchasing decision, what I, also said earlier, what are the prices, the qualities they're looking for, where are they shopping, for example, is it online, offline? So, this is what I would like also to know. So, what else is actually involved also in this, purchasing decision? Are they the users? Are they pros? Or maybe they're also the influencers, So this is also very nice to know. So what are also the common objections or fears also about adopting the new products or service, for example, mines on the market and also competitors, of course. And also to know, of course, because, what is the budget, so what budget they're using, for what range it is. And, so you can also, ask, for example, what is the most important benefit, they hope to gain, of course, from the solution. And also, the next thing, also information consumption, which is very, very important, because you can just, go from yourself, if you even asking yourself, okay, where, is the place, where I'm taking the information from? Is it again offline, online? Even if it's online, is it the social media? Is it, the traditional media, let's say, some kind of websites, etc. So I really want to know, for example, here in strategic marketing, if I have in my, perfect marketing persona, how do they consume information? So then I will really ask, where do they get the, professional information from? Is it maybe the industry blogs in the LinkedIn? Is it, the specific forums? Is it some kind of other social media? So also, when it comes to of course, what type of the content also they prefer, of course, it is some kind of longer articles. Of course, for example, if you're, let's say, again, demographically, let's just demographically, talking maybe to Gen Zs, I don't want to go with the longer ones, the short videos, the reels, of course, for example. And also, for example, let's say millennials, like I said, just, demographically, but like I said, you can just not only go with demographically, but just one of the things, if you're, using demographically, is the ones, the marketing persona, the one, also hearing podcasts, for example, and, the webinars, and, so this is how you have to know. And all these things combined, you can then build your perfect persona, and then to know strategically in strategic marketing, okay, what pricing can I do? What kind of ad can I do? So then, my audience, can hear me and to know. Okay, so when it comes to the USP, I also really like USP because, for example, we're also working in Geneva. And also, I also ask, for example, my students, and also, okay, what is actually your USP? So here, maybe also in my audience, I would like to also to ask my audience, have you ever maybe heard of USP? If so, can you, for example, right now, also, tell me your USP, for example? You
Yes,
know,
I would like to take this
mm,
opportunity, Eva, to answer your question. In the first place, is that my USP is empathy for my travel company, because there are
mhm,
a lot of competitors out there on the market, and we share similar kinds of products. It's about selling travel related services. It can be
mhm,
leisure packages, it can be passport assistance, visa assistance, and my USP is empathy and kindness. My ultimate goal is that if I help people and they understand that I'm doing it with right intentions, I do not have to do much marketing later, because they will understand it, because human brain or heart is so advanced that they understand what people are trying to mean. They do not go after the words spoken, but they actually can feel. So that is the most important thing about me and my company, that our USP is empathy and kindness, and they'll come back to you.
Thank you so much, Mamita, for sharing this. It was so wonderful also to know. And I really, really liked how you really resonated. Very nice. And like I said, you can really be proud of yourself because you really, really, in two, three sentences told it to me. Because why I'm saying this, because as I work also at the marketing agency, even when we had a client, for example, he would not know the answer to the USP. This is why I said it's really wonderful for you to know as a business owner, telling, this strategically, very clearly. It was really wonderful to hear that. Thank you so much, Mamita, for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Okay.
So
Uh,
Eva
yeah.
Jivita has also shared like a customer promise. I think she has shared about her USPs: customer promise, differentiation, persuasion, and positioning. And
Nah.
and yeah, and as it and when it comes to me, I would love to share that my USP is networking, and it is only because of networking that I am here first and foremost, and I am able to build a kind of kindness framework or network in which we all are benefited from each other through various
Thank you.
initiatives.
Thank you so much. That was also really nice. Every time kindness is involved, this is so nice. And, we can spread also the positive energy and in the kindness also to share our knowledge, which is very, very nice. Thank you so much also for sharing that. And like I said, USP, it's really, really important because when you know your USP, even as a person, even as a business, even as a brand, then you're already strategic in, in this a long term, a run, let's say a marathon. You're not just sprinting. So really, already, and, head of a lot of people on the market because like I said, when from my experience, I was really, really shocked. The people don't even know as the businesses, their USP and also really, really not as a person. I mean, you as a person know your best. So for example, I know Eva best, so what are, the strengths and weaknesses. And I need to know my USP in a second, somebody waking my up in the middle of the, night. I really need to know that this is, like I said, it's very, very important us also as, persons because we are also brands. We are walking brands. We are branding ourselves, but also for the businesses. Now, when I dive a little bit, when it comes, of course, into the USP, so, as it says here, if somebody wants to make, definition when it comes to the USP, so what makes us product, service, and as a self fundamentally different and better, of course, than the competition, because nowadays, it's really, really not easy because even if you go to the social media, whatever, there's a really, really lots of competition and it's not easy, beat that different also the better. And for example, I always say to somebody who maybe has really, who struggles with the USP, finding their USP and also their USP as a business, then I will ask you, for example, these questions, what is the biggest single, problem or, my target customer or your target customer, if I'm talking, for example, to a client is currently struggling with, so what the products must solve a real, urgent issue, for example. For example, what unique experiences also or emotions, really, really important again about emotions, because I talked about emotions earlier, do we reliably create for our customers? So for example, this is also with the brands, when it comes also for the Nike, like I said, when I see the ad, I just, like I said, I want to do sports. So this is the bringing me, this is where I also find the USP, for example, of this brand and just giving me, this, the urge and also the emotion that I can do better, I can feel better. So this is also very good. And how easily, for example, you can also ask how easily, this is also very important, how easily could a competitor, copy, for example, my unique feature or process. Of course, you need to really know what is the unique, also the feature. Of course, what are you bringing the best to the market? What is the best? And you can also ask yourself, for example, let's say even if you have a product, or service, you can also say, okay, why me, why not them? Also vice versa, and also you can just ask then, of course, let's say some kind of also when it comes to the emotional, which is very important, and also storytelling stuff, what are the questions, for example, what moment, for example, failure, frustration, lead you to create, for example, also your offer, your product or service, for example, in the first place, what problem did you, for example, personal experience that you know, wow, to fix, you know, because it is also very important, you know, to know, okay, that also the customers, for example, people who are, you know, following you, who are maybe buying your product or service, to know, okay, I really, really want to buy them from them or give them attention because, of course, again, because of the USP. And also, you know, so you can also, for example, you know, ask when a customer successfully uses, for example, your product or service, what feeling, of course, state of mind that also they can, you know, bring, and of course, the emotions that we also talked earlier on. And also, you know, as I talked about marketing persona just earlier on, you know, if you already have your perfect marketing persona, you already build your perfect persona, if you're maybe also already in, for example, for years and years on the market and you're very successful and you already know your customers, you already know, you know, who is giving you attention also and who are those people who are, you know, into your, let's say, brand, product, or service. I really, really like that one. Just please have in mind that what, for example, these people would say, you know, write or say in one sentence, you know, about you, you know, for example, let's say on your social media, or just say, you know, in your reviews or whatsoever. So this is also nice to know for, like I said, the people who are already following you for years, for example, who are already buying for you, you know, they can also, you know, help you to get also your USP to define that. Also, when it comes, you know what is the best you are doing also already marketing, why they chose you and not somebody else. And of course there are so many also other questions, you know, you can ask when it comes to the USP, you know, what is the perceived quantifiable also cost, for example, you know, is the, for example, the time, the money, you know, to the customer if they don't take your product or buy, of course, your product. Are they, for example, losing money? What is the ROI, you know, the return of the investment, you know? So, and this is also, we can ask yourself. And of course, what I also like to think, for example, if you could show a potential client only one, for example, piece of evidence, let's say testimonial, or let's say, you know, metrics, demonstration, whatsoever, that instantly provides you, that actually proves you that you are the best choice, what that evidence, you know, would be, you know, what is the, you know, the evidence that you are, for example, the best. And also, for example, you can also ask yourself, for example, let's say strategically, also, are you, for example, into the speed or more into the quality, you know, into the short term or into the long term, long run, short run also. And then you can also ask yourself, for example, where on the spectrum of the speed delivery, you know, but versus quality of the outcomes do you, for example, deliberately, you know, or over the delivery, and why did you choose, for example, you know, this spot, you know, like I said, you want to be, you know, the fastest, or maybe you want to, you know, do also, for example, you know, want to win, for example, you know, also with the quality. So like I said, you know, when it comes to the USP, it's really, really important. For example, you know, people here in this audience who have never maybe, you know, heard of USP, you know, so just, you know, take from this session, you know, how can I find my, you know, USP, why I'm the best, you know, what makes me different, what makes me better, you know. And like I said, you can also talk to your, you know, customers, you know, so clients and people who are, you know, into your business for years, you know, how would you know, help you also to define also your USP. Okay, so also the next thing, which is from my point of view very, very important, you know, when it comes to the AI nowadays. So it is from my side very, very important, of course, because we live now, you know, and of course in the world, you know, where we are, of course, introduced, of course, into the AI. We are using it, of course, we need to use it, of course, in the smart way, the AI, and for example, in strategic way when it comes to the marketing. For me, it is very, very important, you know, to help to analyze the data, you know, the customers, the market trends, sales, competitors, for example, the pricing, the campaigns, what I said here. And, you know, what is really what I like, for example, for myself, you know, the prediction of scenarios to have a good base for a strategic also marketing. For example, when it comes to the customers, like I said here before, when it comes to the marketing persona, you know, who is my marketing persona? Asking again all of these questions that I ask, you know, even if I, you know, lack of ideas, of course, it can also help me to build of course, my perfect marketing persona. Also, the marketing trends, like I said also earlier on, it is very, very different to do the business, of course, from each, market. It's not, same to do it, for example, in Croatia, in Switzerland, because there are different also rules, there are also different trends. And also, like I said, the information are going from minute to minute, not even, from day to day. Sometimes even it's like from minute to minute, to know what's going on. This is, very important to know, of course, the marketing trends, and also how the customers, are, perceiving some informations, what do they like, what do they not like, and etc. And also when it comes also to sale, for example, if you're starting, with some kind of amount of money when it comes, to your business, how, for example, if you are investing XYZ amount of money, how much time will it take, to bring back that money, and even be, for example, on a zero. So even just for you to know you are not on the minus side. And also, of course, the competitors, is it, for example, on the market that you are, going in, is it the monopoly, is it a duopoly, is it also, of course, something else, what is going on? And also, of course, the pricing, which is very important. Of course, if you know your, for example, the perfect marketing persona, for example, in your, let's say, the perfect market, just to know, okay, which pricing, would be the best, of course, for this also market. It can also not be the same, for the, same, like I said, the different also markets. Even in Croatia, for example, let's say the pricing, even Croatia is a really small country. So, for example, it's only, is when it comes to the inhabitants, it's very small. So, and then even, like I said, this kind of small country, it's not even the same, when it comes from the cities to cities, when it comes to the pricing, even of real estate, etc. And then you can imagine, of course, how it would be, of course, in the bigger marketings. And of course, the campaign performance, which is also very, very important. For example, when I'm entering a campaign, doing a campaign, I really want to know, the KPIs, the key performance indicators, of course, ROIs, the return of investments. So, what I'm, giving, what I'm also gaining back. And also, everything this now, when it comes to, generative AI, it involves also the studying different types of course, data, of course, is very, very important. I even break it down, all the things that would be important when it comes to competitors, pricing, etc. For example, also, also when it comes to the behavior, us as the consumers, because we're all consumers of something, marketing trends, and also it's very important to, do well, into every corner, look from the, every different corner. And also by turning also these insights, of course, into the future predictors, it helps to, for example, anticipate what is coming next, of course, and, build smart, of course, more confident marketing strategies based on social evidence rather than a guesswork, because we don't want to do the guesswork. This is why we're here today and talking about strategic also marketing, to use all the data, to know your data, and you use it also, of course, in a very, very smart way, to not do the guesswork, because you're not going to do it then strategically. Okay, so just for example, before I also wrap everything up, I also want to do a little bit, one more question, of course. So, for example, what strategic shift could you make in your marketing strategy to strengthen the competitive edge of your business or personal brand? This is also something for me, like a little bit the USP, so, it is, like I said, you best, and also when it comes to the business. So maybe have you maybe think, like here in the audience, have you maybe think a little bit when it comes to the, what strategic shift could you do, for example, when it comes, the strengthening your competitive edge? I really like to hear your thoughts on that. Somebody, if you like, share with me.
Anyone?
Maybe something, you're thinking, okay, maybe for the next year now, so we're gonna enter the next year, what can I do better? Did you already maybe do, maybe, a strategic board also for your business, also for yourself, for example? For example, when I'm also talking to my students, they always say they really did, for example, strategic board, for example, for the social media, because lots of my students, of course, they, like to be in the social media. They like also to do the content, for example. They also saying to me, okay, yes, I did, also my Excel, for example, what I'm gonna, post on social media, what strategically I can do better. So this is what I really, for me, is interesting also to hear.
So Eva, the only if I have to answer this, then one thing which I have learned from your session specifically is what kind of problem is there and how I am trying to solve it. So this is one thing which deeply I think I should think it twice and thrice, sit back and think it more thoughtfully. So this is one strategic shift. I think I would be keeping it in mind moving forward.
Okay, thank you so much for answer. Thank you so much. It's really interesting because yes, of course, said even when it is really wonderful that you said because even when you know the problem, even when you know the problem, you strategically even halfway, to solve the problem. Even when you're putting the problem on the paper or writing it down, so you're really halfway there, to even solve the problem. I think somebody in the
I have,
chat
yeah,
also.
we
Yeah.
have a few information in the chat as well. So Jivita has written showcase achievements, awards, recognitions, or impactful projects. And she has also written about use platforms like LinkedIn, forums, speeches to consistently, communicate your brand through stories, insights, and thought leadership, which is great, which is so
Nice.
relatable, right? And
Nice.
if you want to comment something, you can comment. Otherwise, I will tell you about Momita as well. Momita has also written something. Shall I
Okay.
read it out?
Yes, please. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I can.
So Momita says that make your brand more customizable, relatable, and multiple benefits, included for clients.
Nice, very nice. I also really also like that,
And
because if you're a brand, of course, having a business, you're serving to the customers. Of course, you want to feel the customers the best the way they can, of course, and then through your USP, then choosing you. I really also like that, and I really like now how the audience are really engaged, into this, and to just to think also, of course, about what is now my strengths, what can I work on strategically, of course when it can not only from this session to take it only for the marketing, because like I said, at the end of the day we also marketing ourselves, and that the social media, let's say LinkedIn. And like I said, it's not easy nowadays. As soon it's going to be 2026, be different, we be better. Even if you want to be social media influencer, be on Instagram or let's say TikTok, and it's really not that easy. But still strategically, when you're looking strategically, when you're finding your niche, your market, and that everything that we also went through today, I really really think it's still, of course it's possible. And then of course live your passion and do your business, of course, the best, and also to market yourself the best. I'm sorry, I just wanted to go to next slide. Somebody said something in the chat.
Yeah, Mr. Ghanshyam has also written that according to him, involvement of AI and machine learning in each
Mhm.
needed step. I mean, that's a strategic shift that he will be taking in his business. And I mean, as he's already saying that he will try to inculcate 24/7 virtual personal assistance, which is sales,
Okay.
which is great.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you cannot do everything on your own, so that's great. And Momita has also, shared her thoughts once again that
Mhm.
make your team comfortable, take lead and train them, appreciate their efforts so that your team doesn't need you and can perform themselves, keeping their mental health well, which shall automatically help them convert your leads to sales. So, Momita, you are
Wow, that's so
doing this
nice.
to all of us.
Wow. This is also very, very nice. Wonderful words. I really would, fully, really say this is so wonderful said. And also, when it comes also to AI, of course, we should also, of course, involve. But this, when it comes to being a leader strategically, I think it's wonderfully said to know that your team is good, that you also, of course, trust your team. I think this is a wonderful said. Thank you also, Mamita, so much for those kind words. Really, really nice, and really nice to hear, of course, that that also as a strategically, as a leader, of course, not only the marketing, you just want to have the well-being, of course, of your team. And then, of course, then the business can, be better and everything to be better with also, of course, with lots of positive energy, of course. Okay, so here are some things that, I would like, to conclude also the tips to take away. And I cannot believe it has been already, just like I said, so the time goes so fast. So I cannot believe, that. That we are already, just 5 minutes away from 1 hour. So, but okay, let me just take my time, just a little bit, to conclude, also to take tips to take away. It's not easy actually, because when you're doing this strategic marketing, but also when it comes to strategic, also self-branding and everything, to kind of wrap it up in 1 hour, but still, you went so fast. Okay, so for example, what I would like, some kind of tips, to take away, is to collect and know your data. Because, for example, to collect and know your data, because data is just not, reporting tool. It is, of course, the compass. Really need to know from this session that data is the compass. When you know, again, what I said earlier on, what is going on with your, in the market you want to go in, or that you are already, having your business, what is going with the prices, what is going, let's say with the campaign, why you want to go do the campaign as like that or in different way, why you want to do this kind of emotions and that kind of emotions, and what you want to, bring up, into also your of course, people who are, buying your products, buying your businesses. So, like I said, please also take in mind, data is the compass, the guides, of course, your decisions and making also, of course, decision making and helping also, of course, the brands, the businesses, and yourself, for example, to understand, of course, the customers, the market, and everything what is actually, going on. And when use of course, when use also correctly the data reduces uncertainty and ensures, of course, that strategy is rooted, of course, again in inside rather than assumption. Like I said, your data, what's going on, then strategically you can go on your way, and strategy, that your strategy is then right. Okay, for example, think, for example, long term, which is, of course, this is all about when it comes for me, when it comes, to the strategy. Of course, effective strategy, also requires, of course, long-term thinking. This is what I said earlier on when I would like, to how I would like to define, strategic marketing. This is why I just add up, long-term. And also, of course, what I also wanted to said, what I said earlier, to not forget, of course, it is the planning, the researching, and also then the good direction. Because why I'm saying this, because of course, while short-term tactics, for example, may deliver a quick, wins, of course, somebody even it's okay, somebody say, okay, I just want a quick win, maybe 1 year or whatsoever, or maybe have this kind of following, or maybe, have this kind of financial gain, for example, this, market, which is fully fine. It is, their own to have their, objectives, aims, and etc. But in long term, of course, it's different. And like I said, while short term, for example, tactics may deliver, of course, quick wins. For example, sustainable growth comes again, of course, from decisions aligned with a clear future vision. Of course, with a clear future vision, of course, here comes again the strategy, how you're thinking in a long term, in strategic way. And again, not only in the, of course, marketing, but also, of course, let's say also in your personal branding and whatever you're doing actually, of course, in the business. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to the make it simple, so this is, really, really important. So when I say make it simple, for me, it would be like this, for example. It is also like, for example, when it comes to the leadership, if you cannot explain it, for example, your strategy, let's say in a 1 and 2 sentence, then it's, for me, it's not clear. This is also like in, in strategic marketing. It is also, for example, in leading a team and whatsoever. If you cannot, like I said, say into 1 sentence, then it's not clear. It's like even, saying to just, for example, to a toddler, if you know how to explain it very simple and very clear, and like I said, 1, 2 sentence and even 1 sentence, then, make it simple. And then it's also going to be, clear to people who have never maybe heard before your strategy. So this is why it's very important. Because, for example, simplicity enables alignment, for example, across, of course, teams, let's say, ensures also that everyone understands direction and priorities. Let's say, I really, for example, as I was working on more in the strategic marketing, but more creative ideas, I need to, when I come, for example, to my team, I want to have, for example, let's say, some kind of campaign. I have a brand and I want to put it on market. I really need to know how to bring my creative ideas. Of course, let's say, like I said, in one sentence, I want to be clear. If it's not clear, then for me, it's not good. This is why I say that for tips to take away, make it simple. Okay, strategy should also, of course, be, inspire, of course, action. So that means that strategic also marketing, succeeds also when it motivates, of course. This is what I said, earlier on when it comes, for example, also, let's say the brand that I said, when I see, for example, the ads, for what I said earlier on, I just want to go run and I just want to be, even evokes in me, to be the better person, to do better, to perform better. So this is, really, really important. Like I said, strategic marketing also. And if you have also the strategic strategy also in business, is when to motivate team, and also guides, and also to translate also the insights into the meaningful initiative that drive, of course, the impact. So you know how to, of course, give the insights that you have already, of course, in the strategic marketing, and then you can also do your impact and also make it clear, of course, to your team where are you going, and how are you also on the long run for already market that you have, for example, been chosen. For example, also, of course, be up to date, which is very, very important. For example, in the marketing, I'm always also to saying, people who I'm teaching, for example, when it comes to the marketing, like I said earlier on, it's really important, to know what's going on the market, because like I said, even the informations, are changing even from minute to minute, from hour to hour, not even from day to day. Like I said, it's even, that faster. So it's really, really important, of course, to know, how, of course, what is going on and how you're going to use, of course, this data, how you're going to use this data that, they're changing, for example, from minute to minute, from hour to hour, to have, of course, better also strategic also marketing, and also the planning and whatever, you have also in mind. So also to kind of, wrap it up, all together when it comes, because now it's a little bit more now than 1 hour, just to have one more thought that I can also wrap up a bit when it comes to this session, is that, like I said, just strategically, like I said, please, use your data, know your data, and then, of course, that with the data, where strategically you are going. And of course, again, here, just like I said here, collect your data, think long term, make it simple, and just, of course, strategy, use inspiration, use action, and of course, be up to date. Okay, so hereby, of course, I would like to conclude. This is my session. It was wonderful again. And like I said, it went so fast again. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for all the positive energy from the audience. So thank you so much. Even if there are some kind of more questions, I'm really, happy to, to answer, or just have a little bit discussion if somebody wants to discuss anything. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Eva. This was such a wonderful session.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. So, any questions? So, I think we should wrap up, Momita.
Thank you. I really see
Yes.
this comment. Sorry. I really thank you so much for the lovely comment. Thank you so much. And like I said, thank you again for having me. It was wonderful. Thank you for the World Leaders, Foundation team, also Momita, and also you as the host, Shilpi. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to all the audience. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Eva, for your insightful and this enriching session on strategic marketing, and your explanation of SWOT analysis and this generative AI, KPIs, ROIs, data. I mean, so many terms we learned today, and you have beautifully highlighted, everything around a strategy, about tools, about frameworks, and so this the whole session was totally engaging and actionable as well. So, on behalf of World Leaders Foundation, I sincerely thank you for sharing your expertise, your experience, and perspective with our global community. We truly appreciate the time and energy you invested in empowering emerging entrepreneurs and professionals. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you
everybody,
so
again.
much, Eva. It was really engaging and insightful. We thank you on behalf of World Leaders Foundation, and we look forward to connect in the near future as well.
Thank you.
Wishing you
Thank you so
all the
much.
best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. I'm wishing you also all the best, and thank you again for the wonderful session. Thank you, and stay in touch.
To
Okay,
all
thank you.
the
Thank
Thank you to
you.
all the participants as well. Thank you for your active presence and thoughtful engagement. We hope today's learnings inspire you to apply strategic thinking and relationship driven marketing in your own journeys. So we look forward to welcoming you
Yes.
again in our upcoming masterclass next week. Until then, keep learning, keep evolving, and keep leading with purpose. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye
Bye
bye. Take
bye.
care,
Bye
all of
bye.
you.
Bye
Lovely
bye.
seeing you
Thank
all.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.